Hello everybody and welcome back to Simon's Gaming Academy. Today we're going to be doing yet another Allison Jakes battle report that I played probably a few months ago at this point. So early in the piece when I first played Jakes, this was one of my learning games against Shane, who's going to the WTC in a few weeks' time, using his Dusk. And so Shane and I were both still relatively newish to the game. I think this was at the start of August, so we were still only a couple of months in and still learning things, so forgive any mistakes that we make during the game, but yeah, hopefully everyone will enjoy watching this battle report. So this was an early iteration of my Jakes list when I was trying out Plugger and 3 Valiants and 2 Patriots. My list has since changed to being 3 Valiants, 4 Patriots and no Plugger since then, and the list has changed a little bit, but this was kind of my experimentation in the beginning with what Jakes lists I wanted to run. So as you can see, we're playing Payload, so we can score the unit objectives in the middle, they're worth 1. You can score the cohort objectives in the bottom left or top right, they're also worth 1. And the flag objectives the scenario terrain where the flags are don't actually score any points. You only score points if you can actually get your 50 mil cohort and battle engine objective to the flag scenario terrain, and the way that you do that is that at the end of your turn, if you control your your cohort and battle engine objective, then you can move it 3 inches plus 1 inch for any of the for the 40 mils. So if you control both the ones in the middle and the cohort objective, then you can move it 5 inches. And then the final bit of the scenario is that once you've scored that objective and you move it, you can then move one of your, and it says move, it's a bit weirdly worded, but it's move one of your cohort models directly towards that objective. Interestingly, it doesn't have to be the one that scored it, which I think is a bit odd, but that's where it sits at the moment. So this was right after Shane got his Phantasm and painted it up in, 2 days, maybe 3, and he really wanted to get it on the table, and I had never played against Scyrafael before, and in my head she was new Harby, which if any of you played 2nd edition, you know what Harby did back in 2nd edition. It was horrific. So I was quite interested to see how this went. So Shane's bringing Israfyl, the Phantasm, as I said. The Phantasm's loadout is a Focus Vault, a Chronophage Cannon, and 2 Revivifiers on each side, and a Spectre. Spectre's quite nasty for what he is. A def 15 guy with Blade Shield, with a shield. He's quite tanky. And hard to get rid of, as you'll find out a little bit further into the game. He's also got 1 Mage Hunter Commander, Mage Hunter Sniper Team, 2 Void Shapers, the Dreadguard Archers I already was talking about, the 1 unit of Cats, and then the 3 units of the Seeker Adepts. And as you can see, he's put defenses down on the table as well. I have not got any defenses. I do have Sapper though. And so we've got, my deployment's usually pretty boring. It's like the Valiant, or the battle group in the middle, some stuff out on the periphery. I've put the Rowdies in front of everything then. I've put Rowdy out. Sorry, not Rowdy. He's not a Rowdy. I'm going to keep saying that. I've got Plugger on that right flank, essentially to counter whatever he's done. Because as you can see with Shane's deployment, he hasn't put a lot on that side. He's put the Mage Hunter Archers. Sorry, they're not Mage Hunter Archers anymore. The Dreadguard Archers on that side to move towards my 50 and basically contest. And so I've put Plugger there essentially to restrict what they're able to do. Now, the Colossal is a bit of a problem because it threats 12 inches and it can put a crater on stuff. And so my things on a good day threat 13 inches. Or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 inches. So even without crater, I can't get to him. He out-threats me. So at some point, I'm going to have to put something out there for the Colossal to come and get at, to bait him, essentially. And I'm trying to figure out what that is. Hopefully it's a Patriot. But the way that I've deployed, it's probably going to have to be a Valiant, which will be sad. And so the idea is that I'll put something out there on my feet turn with def 15. He won't be able to kill it with the Colossal, and he'll waste a lot of focus trying to kill it, and then I'll be able to come back into it with the other with the rest of the battle group essentially, and then I completely forget this plan, as we'll come to. So he's moving stuff up. So he's put Inviolable Resolve on the Cats from Scyrafael. He has then put the Flight spell, I can't remember what it's called, I'm sorry. The one that gives a Warjack flight and +2 speed. I think it's like Wings of something. He's put that on the Spectre, so it's really going to be able to push up. And as you can see, he's kind of moved it towards that left flank, because I think he's realised in my deployment that he doesn't really have anything to get onto that flag over there. Oh, sorry, to the objective over there, and to contest with Plugger. And so he sent the Spectre over there because he's quite nasty. So the spell that he has put on it is Arcane Propulsion. So +2 speed, +2 def and flight. So this Warjack becomes def 15 base, goes to def 17 against melee, and armor 19, and then +2 speed as well, so speed 8. So that guy is going to be an absolute pain to get rid of. Even Rowdy with full synergy still needs 6s to hit that guy, and Shane's done a pretty good job seeing that that's what that Spectre can go and do over that side. Now I'm just doing standard kind of turn 2 unpacking here. Oh, sorry, turn 1, round 1, turn 2, my first turn, unpacking. So I'm making sure that he's not within range with the Colossal to charge into my Valiant just yet. I want to basically dictate when I can do that. So Jakes has gone here, she's put Silence of Death on Plugger, and she has put up Synergy, obviously, and then you'll see her put out a rock wall here, because there's a lot of shooting, and even though she's def 17 in that, well, the gig, I can't remember what it's called, Dust Devil, that's what they're called. Even though she's def 17 there, and a Wall of Clouds this turn, she's fine. I've taken rock wall because he's got a lot of shooting, and I think he's going to be able to get to me pretty easily later on down the line. So then, still unpacking here. Obviously the Gun Mages don't do anything first turn, they just kind of hang out. The Valiant over here is moving in such a way that he can threaten towards things that come up and try and get on to the unit objectives if he tries to do that. The problem is, and the problem with this list that I change at a later date, is that there aren't really any frontline units, and especially in Payload, which is a scenario that I'm good at, I find that I'm at a disadvantage, because I found that I was at a disadvantage with this list because I've got Rowdies, I've got 3 units of Gun Mages, and then I've got Jakes, and those are my only things that can score unit objectives. So I've subsequently changed the list a little bit, and I've got 2 units of Commandos now instead of the Rowdies, and shuffle the Jacks, as I've spoken about before. So I think that the list is in a better position now than it was to compete on Payload, which is a scenario that I enjoy, and a scenario that really my list should be pretty good at scoring, because it forces everyone into the middle and pulls a cohort model off to the flank, which I can just score with a Patriot, but my opponent sometimes needs to score with something impactful like the Colossal, as we can see here. So Shane and I are just talking through basically his turn and what he wants to do. So the usual play here, so he's got 2 impactful Warjacks here, right? He's got Israfyl and he's got the Dust Colossal. And what he can do is that he can empower both of them, and they're going to retain their focus, and they can also use that focus to reduce damage. And he's got 3 units of those, so he's going to empower the Spectre, who also has the same ability. He's going to empower Israfyl, and he's going to give power 2 extra focus to the Colossal. And he's maybe got 1 too many units of Seeker Adepts here, given that they all power up and he only needs 2 focus. But what it means that they can do when you've got Warjacks like Israfyl that have the ability to reduce damage with a focus, which is called it's called Generator. What a boring name for such a good ability. So what they can do is, when you do damage to them, if they've got focus on them, you can reduce the damage by 5, like a Warcaster can with overboost in their power field. And on a Warjack, that's just absolutely amazing. So essentially what you want to do is that you want to put your Jack in, make it do some work, spend all of its focus, and then move the units up behind the Jack, empower it again to go back to 3 focus. And then it essentially has another 15 boxes, unless your opponent has Iris, and nobody's got Iris these days, unfortunately. It just means that your Warjack essentially has 15 more boxes, which is insane, because Israfyl's already got 32, and him getting another 15 takes him to 47. And the Colossal, the Phantasm, has 58. So, yeah, anyway, amazing. The Spectre also has the same ability, and so he's got 22 boxes of baseline, which is low for a light Warjack, obviously. But again, because he's got Generator, he's actually got 37 if he's full of focus. And I think the one at the top has... I think he had 3 focus, and he ran for 1, so he's got 2 focus left. So he's actually got 32 boxes. He's Def 17 against melee, which is basically all I've got here, and he's armor 19 because he has a shield. So Shane's run it up to contest my objective, and it's just going to be a pain in the ass sitting where it is. He then moves the Mage Hunter, they're not Mage Hunters, I keep saying that, the Dreadguard Archers up, and shoots the Patriot that's just sitting outside of the forest, which honestly probably didn't need to be sitting out of the forest. Probably could have been in the forest because they had Pathfinder and could have been Def 15 at this point, or it could have been further up behind that wall, but whatever, it's where it is. And he puts a few bits of damage into it with brutal range attacks. What are they called? Just sorry, they're not brutal. They're just empowered, so they're just power 15s, which is obviously very good against my arm 17 jack. So dice -2 with each of them. They're going to do 5 damage each. That's 15. That's over half of its boxes, and he does what's that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's literally on averages of how much he should have done to that warjack. So then he runs up the Dreadguard Cav. He moves up, he walks in, he attacks units, triggers my Butcher's Bill because he kills one of the Rowdies, and then repositions to block up my battle group. And when I'm looking at this point in time, I'm worried about what I'm going to be able to do with this Dreadguard Cav. But looking at it now that I've played a lot more Jakes, like this is the perfect setup, because that is, from what I can see looking at me on the table now, I can very easily get to 3 synergy. So I'm getting at least 1 with the Butcher's Bill. These warjacks don't have Righteous Vengeance heads at this point in time. They very obviously do now, because being able to get the double trigger is just absolutely amazing. But at the point that I was playing this game, I'm pretty sure they have aggressive heads, which is fine. Aggressive is amazing for 2 points, but I think with Jake's and Butcher's Bill and the double triggers and the Righteous Vengeance, and Jake's doesn't have any big range extenders, so you kind of are relying on Butcher's Bill and the Righteous Vengeance heads to be able to move them to extend the threat range. And so where we're at now, and to finish the turn, Scyrafael moves up and she feats. And so 14 inches, anything that moves to moves closer to her during its activation takes a power 10. If they take damage, then they just take damage. If they don't take damage, they get pushed D3 inches. And honestly, the push is probably the worst thing at this point in time, because he's got some pieces that I want to put stuff into. And so I'm going to spend a lot of time this turn trying to engineer positioning so that I'm not getting pushed by her feet, essentially, because a lot of my stuff is armor 19, and unless he's rolling really, really hot, he shouldn't be dealing damage to my warjacks, my battle group, which obviously works in my favor. So the one of the Valiants just moves up and just hits the Cav that is engaging all the units. It taffs and falls to the ground, which is also really good, because then I can hit it again with a different model, and then I can trigger another point of synergy, which is obviously really good. So I don't actually mind that he's tough, because he is knocked down and he's just a free synergy essentially at this point, which is great. Now what you'll see me do next is, I'm going to say dumb. It's probably dumb. I think I move the route. So I'm just doing all the empowers. I'm getting the unimportant stuff out of the way. So we're empowering all the warjacks basically at the top side, because the one at the bottom is really not going to do a whole lot. He's going to stand still, he's going to aim, he's going to shoot his harpoon at that cav that's standing there, drag it in, and then hit it for more synergy, essentially, is what his plan is. So he only needs, he's aiming, boost hit, boost damage, and then buy an extra attack, potentially, if I don't do enough damage. The problem with the Dread Cav is that it's dice -5, so they're 17, and if I boost with the harpoon, so this is a decision, so I don't think I'm making it just yet. I'm moving the Rowdies up and they're just dying to fire, basically. So what I am going to do with the guy at the bottom is that I'm going to shoot the harpoon and I'm not going to boost, and that is because they're armor 17, he's power 12, he needs to roll a 6 to pierce, but if for whatever reason I roll a 10, which is just below average on 3d6, I just kill that guy and I don't get to drag him in and trigger synergy. So silly buggers. It's going to come later. But essentially, Jakes is charging into this Dreadguard Cav. The positioning is pretty shit. I don't know why I put her here. I would probably, if I was playing this again, put her up to more towards the north so that she could sidestep into the one that was knocked down. Because then she could attack him, sidestep again, and then sprint behind the building, which is honestly where I wanted to be at the end of this turn, but I just couldn't quite get there. Because of where I've positioned her here. And at this point in time, I can also tell you is that I would forget at almost every point that she had sidestep. And so I'm not happy with where she's going to be behind that wall. Sorry, behind that building. So she's feeded at this point. She just runs back into the Dust Devil and puts a wall down. I know that the order of activation isn't the best, but essentially what I'm doing is measuring out where she's going to finish her move, casting the rock wall, and then sprinting her over the top of the wall for those of you that want the correct order of how to do things. Okay, so here we go. So I'm stand still with this Valiant. I boost the hit on the Cav. I don't boost the damage because if I roll a 6, I pull it in. I roll a 6 on the nose, so do 1 damage to him. Oh no, they've got 8 boxes, don't they? I thought they had 5. Okay, so I probably should boost. I should probably boost. It's fine. And then I club him. I thought they had 5 boxes because Storm Legion Cav have 5 boxes for some reason. So then I just buy an attack and I'm taking some damage from Pincushion here, which is dumb, which I shouldn't have had to have taken. Not Pincushion, sorry, Spring Blades. And finish off that Cav. So then we go with a light and he walks into that Cav that's on the ground. I'm contesting that unit objective so no one can get onto it. I take, I think, like 1 point of damage on the Patriot, which is good because then he doesn't get pushed out of melee, which is exactly where he walked to. So he hits him on the ground. My synergies are the 3 at this point, so his power 15 kills the guy on the ground, easy. And I'm contesting that unit objective so that you can't get any quick scoring points by running some Arcanus up to get it or anything like that. So then we're going to try and deal with this problem over on the right-hand side. I'm deciding if Rowdy wants to go into those Mage Hunter Assassins and try and... sorry, they're not Mage Hunter Assassins. The Dreadguard Archers and killing spree his way through them. But he does have Silence of Death currently, which means that the killing spree isn't going to trigger, and so I'd only kill 2. And he really needs to kill the Spectre that's up there. So now we're working through. I want this Warjack to get into Israfyl. I know that he can heal. I know that he can drop damage, but my guy's at power 20, and like Israfyl's armor. Well, good. 19 is good. I'm at dice plus 1, and so I should be doing 8 damage with each of my hits. I should be getting 4 hits on him, probably. One of them at dice plus 3. The rest of them at dice plus 1. And I'm basically figuring out how I get to this point, because if I use a fuel crate to advance and I land there, then, and I don't take damage, which I probably won't because I'm armor 19, then he'll get pushed back D3 inches and then the entire charge is off and his activation's wasted. So Matt is actually watching this game at this point in time, and I'm trying to decide where I'm going to put this fuel cache. And because I've feeded, I have acrobatics. What that means is that I can put the fuel cache in base to base with that Valiant and advance him those 2 inches. He can walk directly over the fuel cache. See here, you can see I'm trying to finagle stuff. But if I just put that fuel cache in base to base with that Valiant, I can then walk over it and it acts as a backstop for Scyrafael's feet. So you can see here that I'm going to figure out, okay, so we're going to put this down, and then if he pushes me from that point, I'm just going to hit that fuel cache, which is perfect. And so what this means is I'm going to be able to fuel cache to move that Valiant up 2 inches. He's then going to be able to relentless charge over the wall into Israfyl and do some damage. Like I'm obviously not going to kill it. Israfyl's got 3 focus on him, and I probably shouldn't have put the Valiant up there. I probably should have hung back and kept him to see what Israfyl was going to do next turn. But this is what I was talking about when I was like, oh, you know, if I send a Jack out and the Phantasm takes the bait and comes into the Warjack, which he very much can against this Valiant, then that's the option that I'm going for. The Valiant's def 14. He's not very tanky at the moment because I don't have shields. Again, in my revised list, I've got shields on my Valiants now because I just find that it's an extra melee attack at power 16 if you're at full synergy, and it gives the extra +2 armor, which just increases the survivability of your Valiants significantly. So then we've got this other Valiant down here. I don't know really what to do with him, and I'm like, oh, do I want to shoot the Mage Hunters? Sorry, the Dreadguard Archers. And that's essentially what I decided to do. So he's got 3 focus. I roll up 3 shots. He's got boosted hits. So my intent is basically boost hit, boost damage on all of them, if I can. I mean, it's dice -6, and they've got 8 boxes, so I need to be rolling 14. So my aim here is only to kill one of them, essentially. And it's probably not a great use of the focus, but that's what we end up doing. So Plugger goes for a walk. He's going to put all of his attacks into this Spectre. So he is at mat 11. So against def 17, I'm still needing 7s to hit. He does minimal damage on the first 2 because of the generator. So he reduces, I do 8 damage with one, it gets reduced down to 3. I do 5 damage with the second one, it gets reduced down to 0. And then Plugger gets I think he gets a crit decap here somewhere. There we go, crit decap, dead. When he's got 3 boxes left. Yeah, cheers, Plugger, good job. And then I've got Sprint, and I'm like, geez, what do I do with this? Do I put him up there? And what I honestly probably should have done that, is move Plugger up to where I just bopped him to, because then he is starting to engage. And I should have set this light up. Setting the light up was probably a mistake. The light is damaged and probably should be staying back and babysitting that objective for the rest of the game. That's all it should be doing. Sitting behind the wall on the objective, done. Job done for that Patriot. And then Plugger's up and he's, engaging and getting through guys. And there's nothing really on that flank that is threatening him. Even if Israfyl gets into him, he's still, a def 14 Warjack. So that was probably a mistake over that side. But that's fine. These things happen in the heat of battle. And so then the Patriot goes in. It's got an it's got a crippled trench blade, so that's not doing anything. So all the stuff that I'm doing is with my polearm. It's mat 9, power 15. So going into the Dreadguard, it's actually pretty good, and it leaves 1 left on, I think, like 4 box or something. So I'm feeling pretty good about the game at this point. On the right flank, where a lot of my action is happening, I feel like I'm winning that flank, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. So I think Shane, and I do it in this game as well, I think we incorrectly move the Warjack, because it says directly towards. You can't move it over things, you can't walk around things, it's not, you have to move towards, it is directly towards. So you have to move in a direct line down the middle of the objective. And if there's enemy models in the way, you can't walk through them to get to that point. So he moves his up, I move my objective up. Initially I pull this Patriot back, because I thought that the objective read that you had to... No, that's not what I did. What did I do? Oh, because I didn't think this guy was... So, I thought that the Colossal was threat 11, and that he couldn't speed it up, but it threats 12. It's speed 6 with a 3-inch reach. Go figure. Why is that thing speed 6? Anyway, so what I do is here, you'll see that I move the Patriot back, and then I move the Valiant over. Matt then awards Shane the moral victory token because I did a take back. And the purpose that serves is that then the Patriot is still in combat with that Dreadguard Archer, which means that it can't freely walk out and shoot stuff, which is fine. So Israfyl's now out of combat, which is a pain in the ass. Scyrafael's feat is done, so if she starts coming up the board, I can probably get enough things into her to kill her, so Shane's got to be pretty careful with where he puts her. And he's got to decide if he's going to send this Colossal into this Valiant, because if he does, and he doesn't kill it, then potentially I've got a Patriot and 2 Valiants, which could be at power 20 going into this armor 19 Warjack, and when they're mat 10, they don't really care about it's def 14. It's def 11, it's def 14 against shots, but they don't care about it's def and arm, because I can just get into it and kill it. And when you're going into an armor 19 thing with power 20 shots, it's not very difficult to kill a 58 box Warjack Colossal, that thing. So he knows that he's probably not getting onto my cohort objective at the top. He knows I'm not getting his cohort objective at the bottom. He scored the unit objective with his caster, and he scored the cohort objective at the bottom with the colossal, so he's on 2. I just scored my colossal, my cohort objective at the top and got a 1. Again, because I didn't have a unit to put on the unit objective, and the one unit I did have at the front, which was the Rowdies, you might have noticed it was so quick, but they both advanced into Scyrafael's feet range, and he killed both of them at dice -3 with 8 boxes. I think one of them might have been injured from a Dawn Guard or something, but both of them died essentially, and I didn't tough with either of them. And so I couldn't get them onto the objective, to the unit objective, so that's fine. It is what it is. And next turn, if one of my Warjacks is dead, it means that essentially one of the Gun Mage units is freed up. It can run up and score that unit objective, or Jace can even do it, especially with a rock wall. She has the ability to essentially just walk up, put the rock wall down, be within a few inches of that unit objective, and then be exerting pressure on the middle of the board as well, which is where I wanted to be, and probably where I should have put her this turn. But I was feeling a little bit uneasy, and now that Israfyl is unengaged, that was probably the right call, because if he can get Israfyl to Jake, she's probably just dead. Even undefeated, Def 17, she's still probably just dead. So he goes with Scyrafael, so she transfers the Arcane Propulsion spell to Israfyl, and then she runs over to this Battle Cohort and Battle Engine objective over here, which is good, because she's going to score that now. So at this point, he's talking about what to do with his Mage Hunter Commander. He's got a Power 10 Weapon Master, so it's not nothing, and he's got a Spear Cannon as well with dual attack. So he can do a fair bit of work. So he goes into the damaged Patriot here. He's Mat 7, I'm Def 15, 17 against the charge. So the charge isn't going to hit me. And then he's going to put some cannon shots into me, which go to Rat 8, which means that he needs 7s to hit me, which is, again, not horrible. And then because the Arcanists, what are they called? Sorry, the Adepts. The Seeker Adepts aren't actually doing anything over that side of the table. He then throws them into melee as well, which I don't know if it's a great idea, because they're only Mat 6. I'm Def 17 at the moment. And you can't actually get models in, and so they charge into the Valiant instead. And they're Mat 6. They're looking for 8s to hit. He's a 14. He does actually quite a little bit of damage with these Power 12s against armor 19 on the charge. Gets a few bits of chip damage in, and then he just needs to decide where Israfyl's going and where the Colossal is going, essentially. Because if Israfyl comes into my lines there, I think I'm pretty happy about that happening. And then, because I can probably kill Israfyl at this point if he goes in. No, he's putting some attacks into my Warjack. Again, he's given me something, as somebody that has played Jakes in quite a bit more competitive sense since this game was recorded. The fact that Israfyl here is absolutely amazing, and the problem is, as you can see, because of the drag, the Valiant is actually in base to base with Israfyl, and this is going to be the main problem here. Is that Israfyl at the end of this turn, when he scores the battle, the cohort objectives, Israfyl's going to walk out, even though he's base to base and very obviously not able to with that Warjack. Again, this was very early in the piece. This is when we weren't really sure what the scenarios were, and we weren't really confident with playing the scenarios properly, and we were just playing things as they lay, essentially, is how I'd probably describe it. And so Israfyl is able to get into a much better position at the end of the turn. But what we're going to do first is we're going to put the Phantasm into that poor Valiant. So he's Def 14, which is pretty good. The good thing about Scyrafael with the Colossal is that it can boost after the fact. That was the other thing. Shane forgot to empower it and give it a reroll before he sent it in, and I just said to him, no, like, you empower it and you give a reroll, because this is a friendly game. We're practicing, we're trying to see the outcome of not optimal plays, but not complete fuck-ups like that. Like, you're just going to let someone, even at a tournament, I would probably let someone just go, yeah, that's fine, unless it was like the finals of WTC or Iron Gauntlet or something. And so the Phantasm goes in, it quite handily dispatches that Valiant, because it's at, you know, I think it's power strength 20, I want to say 22. Revivify is power 21 with crit decap. I think he crit decapped actually and killed it in one hit. And so then what he does, he takes the Chronophage cannon, sorry, not the Chronophage cannon, the Teleforce array, and he thunderbolts my Valiant away, which is very annoying. The full 3 inches as well, which makes it even more painful. So that guy was in kind of prime position to hit back if the Colossal came in and if Israfyl came in, and now it's not in a very good position, right? And then you just put some pot shots into Gun Mages with the this is with the Revivifier guns. What's it called? Yeah, it is a Revivifier gun. They're def 15, and then I tough, and I don't want to tough because I want to get my Butcher's Bill trigger, and I don't get my Butcher's Bill trigger, so that one gun mage just toughs and ruins everything. And so then he moves up this dude. He is a solo. He's called Void Shaper, and he does another ancillary attack, and he kills it. And then I think I missed the Butcher's Bill trigger here, is what I'm gonna say. Yeah, and then he's like, okay, I'm just going to advance this Mage Hunter Assassin guy who is in melee, and so he sacrifices his action. So Shane scores. He's like, this is going to be the issue here. So as you can see, there's no way that Israfyl can get out of there where he's base to base, but because we think that it's advanced towards, not directly towards in a straight line, we don't do it properly. So I score 1, I go to 2. Shane scores 3 because he scores his cohort objective at the bottom. He scores the unit objective in the middle. And he actually scores my unit objective because that Dreadguard Archer is able to get onto that, and I don't have anything contesting it at this point in time. So now the problem is that I feel like the only out that I have is an assassination. And what I probably should have done here. So I've got... No, the reason why I think this assassination is on, because I've got a Valiant there that's... like it's got damage on it, but it's actually fine, and I've got Old Faithful even if it were to have systems out. I can walk it to within 10 inches of Scyrafael, and he doesn't have like, she can't be knocked down, but she can be dragged. And so if I can get my battle group to synergy 3 and I can drag her in with the Harpoon, I'm going to be hitting at power 10, mat 10, power 20. And that is more than enough to take down Scyrafael, even with I think she's camping 5 focus at this point in time. It's more than enough to kill her. Like, she's armor 17. Like, she'll just go down at dice plus 3. Because I'm doing 10 damage, I'll be doing 5 damage with each hit. She's got 16 health. I should quite reasonably kill her, especially with damage from the Harpoon and damage from the flamethrower, which I drop on the head, as you'll see soon. So these guys go for a walk. The Gun Mages at the top, they empower stuff. Obviously, I'm going to kill this Mage Hunter Assassin. Sorry, I keep doing it. This Dreadguard Archer with Plugger, and then because I've dropped Silence of Death on him at this point, so he should be able to hit it and then kill it and then sprint. I think potentially I forget sprint. No, I think I'm taking shots first with the limited focus that I've got left, because I didn't use any to kill the thing, and he's aggressive, so I charge for free. And so I just kill a couple of Arcanists. They're not Arcanists. What are they called? I'll get this eventually. We'll get there. We'll get there in the end. Seeker Adepts. And then, yeah, I definitely forget sprint on here. I don't know if it, like, honestly, I don't know if it actually really matters, but it probably would have been better if I wasn't going for the assassination, if I'm setting up for the next turn, being able to put Plugger somewhere that he can get into that Warjack. So the guy that was knocked down, he stood up at the start of the turn just with his focus. So these guys go in and they empower. What probably should have happened is that Israfyl probably should have been still standing next to the other Warjack. That one that just stood up would have charged into Israfyl and killed him, because he doesn't have any focus on him anymore. So he probably would have taken Israfyl down, and then that leaves the other Valiant and the Patriot free to go after the Colossal and do some damage to it. So then the Patriot at the top goes for a walk. It's injured at this point. It's walked back into synergy range and does nothing, essentially, which makes me sad. So then the Patriot charges into Israfyl. He's at, I'm pretty sure we're at Synergy 3 at this point. We've got 1, we've got 2, maybe we're only at Synergy 2 at this point. And so he goes in and tries to put some damage on Israfyl. Obviously isn't able to. And then what I'm doing here is that I'm trying to get this guy to a point where he's able to be out of melee of the Phantasm and able to pull it. And I can't do it because what I'm trying to do is aim, right? So just to increase my rat. I can't do it, so I just basically walk to within 10 inches of her. I use my heavy airdrop. I've got a flamethrower. I boost a hit on the flamethrower because I want to flare her, which I score a hit with. So she's on fire and she's flared. And then I'm like, alright, so she's now flared. We'll boost hit with the Harpoon. We need an 8 to hit. That is not an 8. And that's basically the assassination run done. Right, so the other things that I can do is potentially, if I wanted to, I just said, let's just pretend that I'm within 2 inches of Israfyl, because that's the game essentially at that point in time. There's nothing that I can do really to dig myself out of this. Because I think Israfyl was knocked down. I think I cheated here and did a headbutt. I think that's what I did with the Patriot. I walked up and I did a headbutt on Israfyl to knock him down, which by the way is illegal. But again, this is early in the piece when we didn't really know the rules. And I thought that because smaller bottles could slam a larger model that you could also headbutt, but you can't. That's just cheating. Don't cheat, kids. So then we're just deciding what to do with Jakes. Again, I'm instead of just ending the game there because the assassination run didn't work, I'm trying to do things with her. It's not going to change anything. She's now up and very much exposed, and I'm just boosting hand cannon shots into stuff. And what we actually figure out is that if I don't put a hand cannon shot and kill that the Seeker Adept that's there, that Shane basically just wins. Even if I score 2, he scores 2 this turn as well, and he just goes up and wins the game. And so that's basically where we called it. So Shane went to 7, I went to 4, and that was GG's. So thanks everyone for watching. This was a bit of a earlier game in the piece, so I'm sorry if it was a little bit messy, but it is what it is. Everybody starts somewhere and everybody learns from somewhere. And there was a dude that came into the Dual Attack Discord the other day and was like, oh, I really want to see a Dusk Battle Report. So this one is for you, buddy. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you wanted to see Scyrafael on the table, because I feel like that she's an awesome caster, and the sculpt is absolutely amazing. And I don't seem to see her being used overly competitively. I haven't seen her a lot in the WTC lists. Maybe I just haven't looked hard enough. But she's a fun caster to play against, and the Phantasm with her with Future Sight is quite good. So that is yet another battle report that I have lost with Gravediggers. So I hope you're all enjoying this documentary of how not to win with Gravediggers. Hopefully we will get better in the future. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for the next one.